Hello everyone, welcome back to Cheating Exposed, where we unpack the psychology behind love, betrayal, and the human behavior we tend to ignore until it's too late. My name is Lourdes Fernandez, author of Cheating Exposed, and my book is now available on Amazon Kindle, link in bio. And today we're talking about a classic red flag that so many people try to excuse or ignore. And that is the repetition of past mistakes. And what if the past keeps repeating itself? This episode is called History Repeats Itself, the psychology of repeat cheaters. So let's start with the topic of the psychological pattern of a repeat cheater. Let's get right into it. The most powerful predictor of a future behavior is looking at the past behavior. Now, that doesn't mean that people can't change. Of course they can. But change requires deep self-awareness and accountability and often a lot of therapy. Most people don't just magically become trustworthy, and many never do the work. Studies, including those by Dr. Kayla Knopp and colleagues, found that people who cheated in a previous relationship were 3 times more likely to cheat again in their next one. Why? Because once someone crosses that moral line, the barrier is already broken. The guilt is diminished, and the I would never becomes I've already done it. So why do some people cheat more than once? There are a few psychological factors at play here. Number 1, poor impulse control. These people act on feelings in the moment without thinking long term. Number 2, low empathy. They may feel bad, but not bad enough to change, especially if they justify their behavior. And number 3, entitlement or narcissism. Some believe the rules don't apply to them. They might say things like, I was unhappy, so I had the right, or everyone cheats eventually. And number 4, emotional immaturity. Cheating becomes a coping mechanism, and instead of working through problems or facing discomfort, they escape through infidelity. So let's take a look at internal narrative versus external accountability. Here's what's really important to understand. Cheating, especially when it becomes a pattern, isn't just about desire. It's about someone's internal narrative. If someone believes cheating is just quote-unquote a mistake, they'll do it again. If they believe it's a symptom of deeper emotional wounds and they actively work to heal it, change does become possible. So ask yourself, have they taken full responsibility? Did they minimize it, or did they blame their partner? Have they done therapy? Have they read? Have they reflected or owned up to the damage? Because if they only apologized but haven't actually changed anything, that's not growth, that's just damage control. What should you do if you're dating a former cheater? And this part is tricky, because not all cheaters cheat again. Some truly transform, especially when their infidelity was a wake-up call. But here are a few psychological checkpoints to consider. Are they transparent and open, or defensive and secretive? Can they explain why they cheated, or do they just say it just happened? Have they set new standards for themselves, or are they still dancing around temptation? Here's some real talk. Let me say this gently but clearly. If someone has a pattern of betrayal, excuses, and emotional avoidance, they don't need another chance. They need healing. And you don't have to be the one who waits around hoping that they'll do it. Loyalty is not rehab. And that's all for today's episode on Cheating Exposed. I'm Lourdes Fernandez, and I'll see you next time as we unpack digital secrecy and why passwords might be telling you more than words ever could. If the information I shared resonated with you, please don't forget to follow, share, and leave a comment to push my content out to other viewers who might find this information useful. And remember, awareness is the first step to protecting your peace.